So, initially, when I thought about this message, I was thinking in terms of astrology. Then I kind of did a little bit digging here and there and came up with the same basic theme. Uh, things are getting tense. I don't know if anybody can feel it, if anybody sees it, or if anybody's experiencing it, but I wanted to bring your attention to the energy, the tenseness of the energy. And I don't mean this in a collective, we're all screwed kind of way. I mean in annoyed kind of way. Like people's fuses are very short. And I think a lot of people are very overloaded with bad or drama or whatever is going on. I mean, it's going on in our lives, our daily lives. It's going on in our friends' lives, our families' lives. It's going on in the world. And I think everybody's just a little sick of it. I think we're coming to a accumulation point. Um, or actually, I don't think that's what Spirit's telling me. The period between now and like the end of the week, or actually the beginning of next week, we have an eclipse coming up, and we're building up to that eclipse. And it's a lunar eclipse. I believe, well, I don't want to say. I was going to say it's in Virgo, but I'm not really sure. So I won't even comment on that. But lunar eclipses are a door closing. So it is something that is coming to an end. And it can be both individually and it can be collectively. It's a pretty significant ending, and it's not going to be like the day of the eclipse all of a sudden there's an ending. It's in progress right now. We are feeling the effects of eclipse season. We are feeling the effects of the first eclipse, which is the lunar eclipse, which is the door ending. And how it will affect you personally is different because your rising sign, you would actually have to do your natal chart in astrology and look at it and see where your rising sign is and where that particular lunar eclipse is going to land in your chart. And then you could find out pretty much where or what area of life that's going to be focused on. I do most of my stuff, and this is not paid promotion. I have done this my whole entire career, I think. But astro.com is the website that I use, and I get a My Astro account, and then which is free, and then you can run your chart, so you can look at your chart periodically. But they have really great services. So if for some reason you're looking for a good astrology service, um, their website, it's fairly inexpensive. It's like a monthly fee, and it's a good website. Anyway, you can also run them. There's just free natal chart. Natal, Natal is what it's called. Natal astrology chart, and it will tell you. You have to have your place of birth, your time of birth, exact time of birth. If you don't have your exact time of birth, you don't, maybe you don't have access to your mother, maybe she's passed, or you don't have it on your birth certificate, then it's kind of hard to get a real accurate reading astrologically. But you can do a default of noon And that will give you kind of a close one. It'll give you a lot of the outer planets accurately, but not necessarily your inner planets, fast moving transits, moods, day-to-day happenings, that kind of thing. The outer planets are your long-term transits. So if you defaulted to noon, you're probably going to have accurate long-term stuff, but you're not going to have accurate short-term. Anyway, so back to now. There is this eclipse that's coming, lunar eclipse, door closing. People are now, and they are going to continue to be. I even had a little episode. I try to be very understanding and very compassionate, especially when I'm dealing with the public, but I I had a little fit about King Soopers and their stupid checkout last week. And I was really kind of ticked off about it. You know, you're checking yourself out. That is what self-checkout is. And they're all closed. They're all closed. Okay, I have 2 items. I want to go in and out. And I stood there for 15, 20 minutes. Anyway, so people are at the end of their rope. And when something isn't going well, or when somebody is being crappy, they're treating you poorly, or they're talking to you bad, or they're doing something that is not okay, people are going to snap. There's going to be, and I don't mean snap like they've gone off the deep end. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of verbal altercations from people in the next week to 2 weeks. I'm going to say up to 2 weeks, because a lot of people have been holding back a lot of stuff, holding back a lot of thoughts, holding back a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of abuse. Things happening in the world are borderline abusive. And there's a lot of frustrated people, a lot of very, very frustrated people. And there's a lot of people who are having a lot of difficulties. And they're trying to have a brave face, and they are trying to not put themselves in worse positions than they already are. And they're, just trying to deal with everything that's coming at them. And I think this next week to 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we don't like, we don't want to hear, we don't, and like I said, short tempers, people not being respectful, not, just having a hard time. Just remember, a person attacking you is having a hard time. Don't take it. Don't take it. Stand firm in your space. If you are being abused, you need to speak up and say, you can't do that to me, or you can't treat me in that way. Don't let people just get away with their crap. But understand that they are going through things. And part ways as best you can. Possibly stay silent if you can. Or just in general, lay down the law and say, this is what I am willing to do. and I'm not willing to give any more. That's it. This is my obligation. I am willing to cover my obligation in a kind and generous way, but I am not going to take anything more, and I'm not going to take a loss because you're in a bad mood. One of those kinds of things. So, in general, I think probably there are going to be situations where we need to stand firm in whatever we're working on or whatever situation that we're in. But I think a lot of it is just a matter of realizing that people are under stress and staying somewhat silent. Uh, I also see that there's going to be people who have had enough of certain situations and they are probably going to move away. They're probably going to be ending relationships or ending friendships or leaving jobs or, those kinds of things. That is actually the challenge. You're going to probably want to do that. So think about it, sit in silence, don't get reactive, don't um, attack too quickly. If you have a big decision to make, um, then think about if you really want to do what you're thinking about doing. I think politics is going to be huge this week, maybe even next week. There's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of weirdness, a lot of maybe people that are annoyed with politics. Maybe that's what's triggering a lot of people. Um, yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue. But like I said, you don't have to react. You may want to hold your reaction or at least stop and check in with yourself and make sure that your reaction is warranted and it is a good reaction. Um, I made a decision this morning that was needed, and I feel kind of bad about it. I mean, just because it's not a beautiful positive outcome that everybody wants, but at the same time, I kind of felt like it needed to be said, needed to be done, and my guides did too. So I made the decision. Um, but don't try to fight too much. Just know that everybody is on edge. Know that there is going to be conflict. There's going to be drama. There's going to be short fuses, high emotions. Could be a lot of stuff that doesn't even really matter, but it might trigger you, especially if you've been holding in a whole lot. I know in the last week I have had a couple different times where I've had emotions come up and not really know why they're coming up. Like nothing happened. Nothing really, there was no spark. There was no, it was just like my own brain, my own thoughts, my own whatever. And just, start crying for no reason. Um and then like after you get done, it's like, why did that happen? Why did I feel the need to be emotional right at that moment? And what was I emotional about? Because I'm really not quite sure. So I think that's a lot of healing. A lot of emotional healing is happening right now. And I think that is a big part of what's going on with people. People are, it's almost like the universe is forcing people to heal. Even if you think, I mean, I was one that I thought I was done with healing. I thought I was finished. I thought I pretty much went through all of it. And I'm having this just spontaneous emotions coming up for readdressing. And I can tell it's healing, but I can't necessarily tell what it was healing. So, like, what the actual situation was. So it's almost like we're in this time where the universe is purging old stuff from our energy. If and I don't think it matters if you're like awake or not awake. I think that's part of the problem, why there's so much craziness. Why people are short fused and snapping, and there's so much craziness because I don't think a lot of people are expecting it. But I definitely feel like we are in a time where we're being forced to purge old pain and old anger and old hurt and all, and it's just looking for an outlet. It's just looking for an outlet. So, sitting in silence, being quiet, meditating, thinking, um, trying to keep your balance, not lose it on people, not feel like, you're being attacked all the time. Um, those are difficult things to do, but I think they are pretty important, and they will be really important in the next, say, 2 weeks. I think eclipse season is going to be a little bit more like that, but I do feel we've got some purging that needs to be done, and the universe is forcing it on us, maybe. Um, like maybe we don't really want to do it and we're avoiding it, and we're being forced to purge things, or maybe it's a time issue. Maybe we need to do some purging pretty quickly here. And the universe doesn't have time to explain what it is you're healing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it is. It's the universe saying, hey, it's time. Adventure. So you're on a healing adventure. Anyway, love and blessings, guys. I hope that your healing adventure is a fruitful one.